Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to The Power of Words. Using the power of his words today is Ponti Lambros, art disruptor, the art rebel. Really happy to have you here. Beautiful day in California, and welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Blessed to be here. I just have to say, just having these moments with you and with what we're trying to accomplish and do and achieve and what we've already done in such a short period of time, it's really very rewarding on a spiritual, emotional level. And I look forward to doing more things. So let's get right into it and talk about the magic that you gave me. This magic,
Yes,
is true magic. I have to tell you, like right to get it started off, when your last event and you gave this to me, I haven't taken it off since.
I can tell.
Yeah, as you can see, I might need a new one because the magic has rubbed off a little bit. You can kind of see, but
Yes.
but it's true. The power and intention, and everything you've said of the power of the words, just creates, like for me, this lightning bolt of energy and manifestation. And since we last spoke, since your last event, nothing but magic has come my way.
I am so happy.
So thank you.
No, thank
allowing me to
you.
recognize that.
No, thank you for being magic. Like I say, you are magic. We're all magic, but we've just got to believe it and put it out there and manifest it in many ways. But then you have a constant reminder as you're running through your day to remember that you need to put out that magic for the world to see what you're capable of, right?
100%.
So, well, tell everybody a little bit about what you do, about your magic, because you created magic at the last event, and I would love to talk about, before we go into you telling us about what you do,
Right.
is to really just say, I am so grateful. It was a 2-minute call to say, Ponti, I'm doing an art event, and you went, Deb, whatever it is, I'm here for you. That was a very magical moment for me. I might have had magic in my head at that moment, but thank you for that. And well, let's share what you're doing and what is this exciting what are these exciting projects you have in the pipeline?
Absolutely. So during the pandemic, I created this foundation called the We Heal Projects, basically to show how art can heal. And when I heard about what you were trying to do, it was very in line with what we're trying to do. And so my idea and thought is that, sometimes our mental health is very fragile, and we can be at a high, but we can be at a low in a snap of a finger, instantly. And what I just try and do is give people different coping mechanisms with creative techniques to kind of allow them, when they feel that drop, there's little things that they can do to self-soothe themselves, little things that they can do on a very subtle level to change their mindset. And it's all creatively based. So when we're together and we did this event, it's just basically showing the power of healing through words, translated into the power of healing through creativity. And so when you were telling me about your project and your foundation, what you're trying to do, it's so in line with what we're doing as well that, right when you told me after a minute, like, I got you, Deb. It's good. We're good.
Yes.
I totally hear what you're saying. And I think the result from that evening of just this special, organic, spontaneous moment that we had was truly magical. Not to keep saying magic, but I will keep saying magic because it was magic. And, just from that, the trickle-down effect to see the progression and the possibilities that we can really do is truly magnificent. And I also think what the people out, there in the world need to know is it's not always the big things that you have to do in life. It's these little subtle things that we can all do. The subtlety is the power. Quality over quantity, right?
Absolutely.
So if you can find these little things that you can do on a daily basis, it'll just make you stronger emotionally, mentally, physically. And those are the things that I'm trying to convey out there and just share with the community. And then when we spoke in the power of words and what you're trying to do, it just makes so much sense.
Absolutely. You talk about strengthening yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, and socially as well. You need that strength socially, but it comes from your community. The social strength comes from the social mental strength, so to speak, comes from your community. And it's funny how thinking about emotional strength and mental strength helps you build physical strength. It
100%.
gives you, it motivates you to want to do things. It motivates you to want to go out and work out. It motivates you to eat healthy.
Yeah.
It motivates you to reach out to people, to speak out, to be kind. There's so much of everything that we need in the world today.
And I think that, when we break it down, and I'm all about, it's all energy. And it's this vortex and it's this magnet. And what we need to do at this point in life, I think there's so many things out in the world that's trying to segregate us and have us choose sides and things like that. But what we really need to do is find opportunities to unite.
Find a common ground.
Common ground. And that's what I love about what you're doing, and what I'm trying to do is like, listen, let's find the common ground to make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
And then that will then have this domino effect of positivity, love, and positive change. So
Yeah.
I love everything that you're doing. I can't wait to see what else we can create together. And I just think, the power of words is where it all kind of starts, because it gives a specific direction and intention, which I think really allows you to focus. And like for me, just like those words, like every day I'll be looking, and all of a sudden it just like kind of reminds me. I might have to change and break down, and I might have to put on another wristband now too. I'm just like telling you, it might happen. It might happen, but I'm still feeling the magic.
That's
The warrior
great.
I always feel, compassion I always feel, resilience, optimism, but this one still really feels like it's the one that I connect with the most.
You know that you can stack them, right?
I know.
Like me.
I'm not as cool as you though. I'm trying to get there, but
So tell us, what do you have in the pipeline? What's new and exciting for 2024? I know we have a lot of things lined up for 24. We've already discussed the next couple of events and how those are going to roll out. Tell me about what you're doing.
So I'm also like a creative mental health consultant for a lot of corporate America companies, and I go into these different organizations. I deal with executives. We take them on these, I don't want to say like a spiritual retreat, but a lot of times when you're a leader and you lead, sometimes a leader needs to follow in order to lead.
Yeah.
And so we'll take them away on these amazing experiences to kind of have them disconnect, to reconnect is the best way I'd like to describe it. So we do these super exclusive workshops all over the world that we can take people and kind of give them 3 to 4 days to kind of ground themselves, taking them to these amazing locations where they can reconnect with nature. Then we do some different workshops that they can work on their strategic goals on how they can really help improve the morale in their organization and company.
Amazing.
And then through that, make a positive change for them personally so that they can be an effective leader, for their companies. The other thing that we also are doing next year is, I think mental health events and workshops, a lot of times companies will call me up and they'll want to do a one-off. And I'm like, you can't get better with a one-off. You have to really invest time and energy into showing your staff that you're really committed to their mental wellness and well-being. So what we're also doing and developing is like, I want to say a year-long commitment to say like, we're going to check in every month and we're going to have different creative prompts. We're going to do virtual, meetings. We're going to do in-person meetings to really show how creativity can help in the workplace, and then have that case study for them to see the improvements in their staff's overall well-being. The good thing for them is that it helps with them retaining the staff that they already have, and 2, it helps them in recruiting new staff because of the opportunity they see. This is a company that I want to work with and deal with. So that's one thing that we're doing. Another thing that we've created are these mental health art kits. And we're working with a lot of different organizations, basically providing companies, organizations, nonprofits, these mental health art kits that give people a week's worth of creativity in a box.
Amazing.
And it's basically, if you take this box and you focus 30 minutes a day, your dopamine levels will increase, your cortisol levels will decrease, and you'll feel better by doing subtle things like coloring.
Yeah.
By creating.
Amazing.
So that's a couple things.
That's amazing.
I could go on and on and on, but let's.
And I can go on and on and on about the collaborations that can happen here, because what you do is these events and these amazing art projects, and just to combine it with the power of 7 and the band bond therapy kind of makes that and builds that community. So we have to talk about that.
Well, absolutely. And I love the power and intention of chakras. I've always been a firm believer and an advocate for chakras. I love mandalas, and I think the power of color and the intention of what color you're connected to has a big significance. But what I love is how you've elevated. It's not only the color that has significance, but now you've put the words.
Word on it. The word that ties to the chakra as well.
Exactly. And so for me, when you were telling me that, it was like taking what I was already thinking to the next level, and then really putting that intention out there of like, really like, you could focus on just a color, but now like I go, I really love purple, but then now I know, purple like signifies
it has a
magic
meaning,
and a meaning. Then that really allows me to even go deeper into focusing on that when I'm using that color, when I'm trying to create, when I'm trying to do something, when I'm trying to manifest something. So
yeah. And sometimes I feel if I see a color somewhere, big splash of color, and I go, I have a reminder. That becomes a reminder for me. And it's, it's about practice, right? It's about doing something repeatedly, so it's ingrained in your brain, which is why our program starts K through 12, because I think even kids at a really young age need to learn to express themselves, need to feel free to say what they want to see, but it's also paying attention to what others are saying. And the way we do this is in community. You understand what someone's trying to be optimistic. How can we help them be optimistic? Or how can we have a conversation about what they're feeling? And that's really why we call it the band bond therapy, because it's the bands that bond you. You have a common goal, which is to express yourself and respect the emotions of others.
And I think also with that band bond theory, you're also allowing people to be seen and heard. Mm-hmm. You're doing something like what I say every morning is like every day I wake up, it's got to be meaningful and memorable.
Yes.
And
I like that.
And I think that, with what you're doing, it really allows you to have that intention to be meaningful and also execute it to be something memorable. So for me, I love everything that you're doing.
I love how we align. I mean, I love what you do, and that's why there's, and also being like-minded is what brings you together. Your goals are aligned, your mission's aligned, the change we want to make in the world is aligned. I'm so grateful for, well, I have to say it was my husband said, what about Ponti? And I was like, okay, I haven't talked to them in forever, but let me give them a call. But of course, you're connected with, our kids are connected. So there's never been a bond broken. But it's funny how, relationships just surface.
Well, I think...
Talking of, that's another relationship that just came to the surface, Andy. Thank you. He brought the magic to... He
did bring the magic. And I know that you can't see behind the magic, but behind the magic are a couple wizards.
Behind the scenes is always the magic.
Yes, we have...
They make the magic happen.
We have a lot of magic.
Stop blushing.
But I'll tell you, I think the beauty in relationships and with people that you care about is that when you reach out and you take that moment, like when you ask for help or you ask for support, even if you haven't talked to that person for a while, and it's unconditional, like, yes, it makes you feel wonderful that,
there's a bond.
But then at the same time, it's also, on my end, for me, it's like, I just felt touched that you called saying, hey, is this something you can do? So for me, it was I think it was just a perfect moment for both of us to be able to come together to do something really special. And I think that evening that we had of creating together with an amazing group of people, so diverse and so connected with just the little subtleties of what we were trying to do. It was really a truly special moment. And,
Thank you.
I think the more that we can do this, the more people we can touch.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's how you build. Like I always say, it's the field of dreams sort of philosophy and mantra. If you build it, they will come. And that's what we're trying to do right now, is build these moments and these experiences for people to connect and come together.
Come together. Absolutely. No, hats off to that. It's also being in the right place at the right time. I mean, it was that moment in time. The stars were aligned. I believe in, the universe really controls every moment we have. Everything that happens in life there's a higher power. And I do believe that.
Well, I 100% believe that with you. And sometimes I feel that, when I'll be in these different speaking engagements or whatever, I just feel that there's a switch that goes on in me and it just comes out. And I don't even know sometimes what I'm saying. It just kind of happens because I allow it to happen. And I think we both allow ourselves to be vessels to allow that to project. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to project positive change.
Absolutely.
And we manifest that, and we have the intention on that, and we focus on it every day. So it becomes effortless and easy.
Thank you.
And as you can see, there is no script here, ladies and gentlemen. This is just love and spontaneity, and it's about having a connection with a person, of just being able to talk about what's real in the world and how we can change
how we can make it better. You always want to leave the place or leave the world or leave a space better than when you entered, or leave it better than you found it.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit now about the fashion, because I'm just so impressed with everything. Like you were a disruptor. I kept saying earlier before we were on, I was like, this is an amazing piece. And tell me a little bit more about it and with the words that you have and in there.
There's several elements to what we do, and fashion is how I started it, because fashion's a powerful vehicle. But this was pre-Power of Words. The butterflies were really Talia, my daughter, who's 21 now. My daughter Talia's philanthropy for pediatric cancer research. It was called The Flutter of Hope. And butterflies are a sign of hope. So because that's part of the mother brand Talé Blanc. I took the butterflies from there, because also for change in anything, you have to have hope. So I brought the butterflies into this, and to merge the two, I took our wave, or a rainbow wave print, because waves are a sign, are the movement of emotions, and rainbow is, diversity and inclusion. And we ran positive quotes along it. So that's how we created the print, the butterfly, the positive quotes, the movement of emotions. So it's everything that comes into one piece. And it's a print on sweatshirts, on dresses. Thank you.
And I love that. And also, if people can see, she's got, you have to show real quick, the little side where it actually talks about, which I think is really very interesting and very...
well, that's the label, and the label goes on all our product, and that's the message behind the brand. It says, the words you wear reflect who you are, but also impact how you feel. Fashion leads culture. Culture creates change. So I believe through fashion we can create change, which is how we began the Power of Words. It's a very important message, and that's why it lives on every product in the brand.
And you know what I love is that everything that you do is super intentional, but it's also super subtle. And it's kind of like a double take. So it's like, some people might see it, some people might not see it, but the power of words is also in the power of the energy and these, pieces of clothes that you design for people to wear. And it's kind of like their uniform of love, their uniform of hope.
And message.
It's huge. So
and impacting themselves. I think I was fortunate enough to have grown up in the golden age of fashion and inspired by the best designers in the world. So when I create something, I first have a vision of how will this design or this piece or this piece of art evolve. It's not just about doing the art and stopping there. And also to try and make it beautiful and subtle for everybody. Talé Blanc is a luxury brand. It is a high-end brand. And if I am tied to the power of words, I want to take, it's kind of your signature as an artist, like you have your signature, your studio's incredible, all of the art you do and, the projects you do has your name tied to it in many ways, even without the name being there. So I hope that my product will be recognized without a name attached to it.
Well, I mean, you're definitely an art rebel, even, I see it.
I am a complete art
You are
rebel.
definitely an art rebel. And there's many different art rebels out there. All of you are art rebels.
In your own field.
In your own way. And that's the idea, is to reconnect with the child within. You can never, I think in anything that you do, which is creative, the most important thing is that you don't forget about that little boy, the little
Inner
girl,
child.
the inner child that you were. Always listen to them. I always look back at myself and I go, what would that 5-year-old me say now at me in my life where I'm at? Would you be proud of me? Would you be happy with me?
Absolutely.
So I always try and honor that child. And so for me as an artist, like for my personal art that I do, not with just a studio, I go by Likey. And I go by Likey because Likey is a name that my grandparents used to call me. Likey is the name where I first became an artist. Likey is the inner child. So I honor the inner child with all my paintings that I sign as Likey, because that is who I honor. Because if it wasn't for Likey, Ponti would never exist. An art rebel would never exist.
Likey, you're doing a great job inspiring and empowering the world.
Yes.
I look at it, yes, I think about the inner child, but I'm also thinking about what am I leaving behind? What's the message I'm giving my kids? What am I, how do they learn from me? What I say, what I do, how I react to people or how I treat people. That's what I want to, that's what I think about with everything I do. And we both have kids that are so like-minded, and I'm hoping that we're leaving the world a better place for them.
Well, I think, all we can do is that. And if you give it everything you have, that's what lives on. And that's the beauty in creativity. That's the beauty in anything you do, art, fashion, music. So that's your legacy. And that's what makes, that's what makes it immortal. That's what allows you to keep on going. And then people always remember the mark that you made.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for bringing your magic to the studio today and to my day. We started the day off with this podcast, so I appreciate you. And for everybody out there, please follow. I want you to say all. I know you've got 3 Instagrams,
I got 3.
So tell us.
You can go to @ArtRebel, @ArtRebel Studio, @WeHealProjects. So again, ArtRebel, ArtRebel Studio, and We Heal Projects. And coming soon, The Land. I'll tell you about that next podcast that we do.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you.
And thank you
Pleasure
for having
to have
me.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Appreciate you. Thank you.